Yeah, this is Point Black. Coming in hard and off the card. Coming with the flow from the barrio, coming with the heat from the street, and coming with the facts to crack backs. Coming with the boom bip to their lying ass lips. Now today, we see another situation coming in where we have a situation that we spoke about in many of my lives when it took place and much of what I was seeing going on and so forth and on. And now we have a situation here where we have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is, going to drop some facts based on that situation. And I want everybody to listen to what she has to say, because what she has to say is very important as far as what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying. So without further delay, without, hauling and stalling, we're going to look in. So here we go.
Really appreciate you bringing up these very important details that I highly doubt we will hear anything about from the January 6th committee. There's some very interesting facts that came out today, as a matter of fact, reporting on the failure of this chamber, this Capitol to be secured. And I want to tell you something. On January 6th, I was a brand new member of Congress. And I want you to know,
How many days had you been here, Representative Greene?
January 3rd was my first day on the job.
So you've been here 3 days?
That's right,
okay.
3 days.
All right.
And I looked at the Capitol and thought this was the most secure building that I could possibly be in at least in this city, possibly in the country, because it's our nation's capital. And tragically, we found out it was not, and I was shocked by that. What amazes me is the overwhelming amount of evidence that the National Guard was requested to be here, and it was continuously turned down. And the biggest shocker to me is that there's three people that turned it down. It was Chuck Schumer in the Senate, Nancy Pelosi in the House, and Mayor Muriel Bowser.
If I could interject for just a moment, who's in charge of security here in the House of Representatives?
The Sergeant at Arms, and that would be Nancy Pelosi.
Right.
Nancy Pelosi. The Speaker of the House is the one in charge of the House Sergeant at Arms. And the House Sergeant at Arms and the Senate Sergeant at Arms turned down the request for the National Guard to keep all of us safe from the threats that they knew existed.
Are we going to find out if they got ordered to do that by the Speaker or by the leader in the Senate? Are we going to find that out tonight?
No, we will not hear that from the January 6th committee that has spent millions of taxpayer dollars supposedly investigating January 6th. I highly doubt we will hear that. But I want you to know that when we take back majority, these will be the investigations that we take on. Now, I want you to know some other things that really bother me as we've spoken about the failure and absolutely purposeful refusal to protect this Capitol by Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, Chuck Schumer, and Mayor Muriel Bowser. These are the failures. They did it on purpose. There's other things I don't think we'll hear about tonight, and I want to remind everyone. Number one, we still do not know who the pipe bomber is. Who is the person? There are videos everywhere. It's all over the FBI website. But we don't hear that coming out consistently from the January 6th committee. You know what else we don't hear enough about? We do not understand what is happening to the over 800 people who have been arrested and charged for the events on January 6th. We don't know what is happening to them, and there are dozens of them right here in this city wasting away in the D.C. jail, being treated like political prisoners of war. And you know what? This is before they have been convicted of anything. They are there pre-trial, and no one cares about them. No one on this January 6th committee dares to ask a question, what is happening to these people and why their due process rights are being so flagrantly and horrifically violated. Pre-trial, they are sitting in that jail. Do you know they have begged to go to Guantanamo Bay because they think terrorists are treated better than they are treated there. But no one cares about them. These people have been arrested and charged, and they're wasting in jail. You want to know something else that we're probably not going to hear about? What about the fact that there's a man named Ray Epps? Do you know who's not in the D.C. jail? Ray Epps. Ray Epps is not in the D.C. jail, and I know because I went in the D.C. jail. I did not see him there. He also is on video over and over again telling people to go in the Capitol.
Well, I'm sure we'll hear about Ray Epps this evening.
I don't think we're going to hear about Ray Epps. I don't think so. I don't think he's on the witness list. You know who else we probably won't hear about? The man on the scaffolding, the so-called scaffolding commander that told the crowd, told them, sent them, gave them orders to go in the Capitol, storm the Capitol. I haven't heard about him being questioned.
No, when he said storm the Capitol, who are they talking about? Ray Epps is the guy you saw standing on top of the scaffold and was swinging with the black jacket on, when prior he didn't have that on, and the red hat. He was the one I was talking about in my other videos when I said that he was swinging at the windows, and when his little red cap got knocked off his head, rather than keep swinging at the window, he dived down in the crowd to look for that little red cap. I guess it was supposed to be posing as one of Trump's hats, Make America Great Again, and he would have had on the little red cap. So while he was swinging, he wanted to make sure that he dived down after that little cap got knocked off his head somehow. He dived down in the crowd looking for that hat because he had to have that hat through the whole entire group.
Have you?
No, I have not.
No. You want to know something else? Here's a woman we don't hear anything about. A woman named Roseanne Boylan that was trampled in the tunnel, trampled to death. We never hear anything about this woman. She died in the tunnel of this Capitol, and I saw the video myself when I was in the D.C. jail from one of the people being held there, pre-trial by the way, of her body being dragged across the floor, and then it was taken somewhere else. Do you know what happened when they were dragging her body away? They pulled her away from someone that was giving her CPR. She was pulled away from life-saving CPR. Why did that happen? Are we going to hear about that from the committee tonight? I doubt it. They don't care about Roseanne Boylan. Here's my major issue. We are representatives of the people of the United States of America, and all I hear from everyone in this body is all they care about is themselves. The American people are suffering from so many things happening from the decisions of this body. But the people in this body and the people in that committee don't care about Roseanne Boylan from Georgia, by the way. They don't care about her family. They don't care about justice for them. They don't care about anything else but, oh, what happened to us on January 6th? Well, what happened to the American cities in 2020 that were burned and looted and destroyed because of BLM violence? Nothing. All that money raised on Act Blue for BLM, it went in their pockets. No one paid to rebuild those communities. Not at all. You know what else we probably won't hear about is Michael Byrd, who shot and killed Ashley Babbitt right out there. We don't hear about his reckless record of guns, which is all we've talked about all weekend here. We aren't hearing about that. Why aren't we hearing about that record? Why? Why isn't he standing trial? He's not. He just gets to get away with it. Did you know, and it's on video, I bet you we won't see this video, but I've seen it and it's out there. Did you know Ashley Babbitt was trying to stop people from breaking in? That is on video. I've watched it over and over. She was trying to stop people from breaking in, and then she was shot and killed. Yes, a lot happened on January 6th, and here's my question. You know what else? And the American taxpayers pay for this. There's surveillance cameras all over this building. If we really want to know the truth about January 6th, it's real easy. All we have to do is release the video footage, and everyone can see for themselves what exactly happened. And I think the American people deserve that. While they have to watch and go through this big cinematic production tonight and carrying on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and the American people pay for it, by the way, the American people deserve to see all the video surveillance, not just the little cut and pasted pieces that the January 6th committee is going to show tonight. And most of all, I want to finish with this. There is something terrible happening in this process, and it's called defamation of character. The 45th president of the United States' character is being defamed, and all of his staff and his family and all Republicans, everyone's reputation is being defamed as lies are being told about all of us and President Trump just for politics. And it makes me sick. It absolutely disgusts me. If we were supposed to represent the American people and we're supposed to do a good job and uphold this place with honor and keep its reputation good for the people we serve, then we should be truthful. But what's about to happen tonight is not going to be truthful. It's going to be a political narrative, and it's all for politics, and it is sickening. And with that, I'll yield back my time.
Well, I thank the gentlelady, and like I said, if you've ever seen reality TV, you know, it's just a couple episodes. It's
Nobody wants to hear that bull. You know what I'm saying? The whole fact of the matter is, in this matter, she just mentioned some facts to crack backs right there. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody to go back and really listen to what she said, because everything that she said is what actually truly happened. You know what I'm saying? So we saw the cover up in the game with Ashley Babbitt when she got shot. We understand that she was trying to stop and all this and that, which I said the same thing. You know what I mean? Many of it didn't look right on many different fronts. You know what I'm saying? And then when the National Guard wasn't called in, which they did call in the National Guard during the protests on campus years ago when they were protesting against the Vietnam War. And many National Guards and shit were called in, and then some shit popped off. Somebody did a firecracker or something, and the National Guard started killing the students. You know what I'm saying? Which, to me, is the same thing we see now going on with the protesters that we see on campus right now. But what Marjorie Taylor Greene has just presented in her presentation on this matter, she is telling the truth in all ways. You know what I'm saying? These people have been doing this bullshit for many years, and we know for a fact that this is what they've been doing. You see what I'm saying? This is what they've been doing. So it's time for us to start to understand that we have to do what we have to do in order to know what is truly going on before we jump the gun and accuse a standing president of something that he did not do, something he did not truly approve of, and something he did not tell them to do, something he did not go there and do himself. All of this was concoculated, and we see it. You know what I'm saying? Even when it came to the motorcade car, they kept talking about, and Donald Trump wanted to go back to the White House, and he said he choked out the driver and all this lying ass shit, and Michael Pence and this. Even when it came to Michael Pence, crooked, betrayal, neo-Nazi looking, crooked, third Reich ass. You know what I'm saying? Are they talking about he can't stop the election when, yes, there's a laws that said that he could have been stopped and ballots could have been counted and so on and so on. So right there, Michael Pence participated in a violation of federal government process of the ballot checking and the checking of fraud, or, you know what I'm saying, cheating of the election. Michael Pence did have the power to do so, you know what I'm saying, in more ways than one, you know what I'm saying, and at the same time, he had the right not to certify Chief Joe Biden, but see, he's a part of the deep state, and he's a part of this Zionist movement shit that they have going on with this cult. You know what I'm saying? And many other groups, not just them. You know what I'm saying? Is orchestrating a lot of this stuff that we see going on because they believe that they are gods and they control the world and they prove to their members how they chump up these different things. And what people don't understand is these chumps up are not always chumped up in a day or two. These chumps up a day are planning over 40, 50 years of planning that course and telling their members to look to see how this world is going to course through and turn this way and turn that, and we're going to be able to do this, do that, so you can never do this and that, and they have them locked in and dizzy, especially with the boule, you know what I'm saying, and many Negroes, you know what I mean, but at the same time, what Nancy Pelosi and Chuck the Duck Schumer and the rest of them did was concoct the whole shit to fall that way, and that guy, you know what I'm saying, that she's talking about, you know what I'm saying, he was orchestrating gathering of the different groups of people that would take the riot or whatever they come up into a riot that would rush the White House. He was the one that orchestrated all that. So he was the rabble rouser and probably the FBI, CIA agent or secret agent or some secret deep state bullshit and all that put together. You know what I'm saying? So what she's talking about is the truth in all ways. They did do that. That's what I'm saying? All in an effort to put all the blame on Trump and create what we call an insurrection. So wanting to use the same, what would you call it? The same laws of the Constitution and many other documents forbidding the demon Democrats and the demon Democrat and Confederate rebels, and so that wanted to come back into the government because at one time there was one. It was only one state of everything, and nobody had a Confederate and a Union. You know what I'm saying? Split up in that. There was a part of the Confederates was a part of the Union. And I guess when they decided to split off and do whatever your secret mission and whatever bullshit they did, the Civil War ensued. So, you know what I'm saying, after the Civil War was over, you know what I'm saying, a set of rules was written based on them being able to come back into the Union and the government and be, elected officials and lawmakers and all this different stuff, but they had to go by the guidance of rules that was put into the Constitution based on the fact of telling them that if at any chance they were to go back to being the Confederate rebels or bring into government the Confederate secrecy of the Ku Klux Klans and these different Confederates and thing in the government, and they get caught, they immediately gets prosecuted and kicked out or sent to jail. You know what I'm saying? Under those constitutional rules. So under those constitutional rules that you saw they kept bringing up, they only were bringing up the part that those laws were referred to the Confederates and any type of individuals such as the Confederates and their conspiratorial ways. They were not allowed to bring that into the government anymore. So they use a law, bring up a law, they create a scenario of a rushing of the Capitol to create the insurrection and then use the constitutional laws to turn around that was for the Confederates and the Democrats and the demon Democrats and all of them, the laws to keep them from bringing garbage back into the Union. You know what I'm saying? And taking over and doing all kinds of conspiratorial shit, which they did anyway. But anyway, those laws, you try to take those same laws and create the scenario and then use the laws to blame Trump and say that Trump caused an insurrection. That's the easiest trick in the book. But at the same time, that's called a setup. You know what I'm saying? So you set Trump up for that one again. Same as you did when you set him up for the border shit. You know what I'm saying? And saying that he was the one who did this at the border and he was the one who did that at the border and he put them in the cages and he did this to them and he did that to them. And you breed that shit over there and you open up the border and let 5 bazillion people into the United States to overload and cause havoc if we're not careful on all matters. Then you went over to Ukraine and did your bullshit over there and caused Zelensky to be talking about joining NATO, the criminal organization, and driving us into a nuclear war and continuously over there bombing and killing or whatever the bullshit that Zelensky cricket bud nose ass is doing. Dumbass. You need to go back and talk to Madame Blavatsky or whatever her name is. But at the same time, you have even the using the insurrection. All was left to be made to make an insurrection happen was the confusion amongst the protesters, going up to the White House and supposed to be going up there, and protesting peacefully and patriotically. The rabble rousers that was in the crowd and the rabble rousers that were working for Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and working with the demon Democrats and probably the Zionists and every fucking blood-sucking fucking deep state secret society bullshit that he belonged to, was there along with probably others to rabble rouse the crowd into totally rushing into the White House. On top of that, you had intricals on the other side, even inside the White House, that even probably opened up the doors and told them to come in. Because it was the time around the time where people could visit the White House, and it was that time of day and everything. So now he told them come home in. But on one side, you had another group over to the other side. That was the group that was the rabble rousers in order to drive the riot forward, you know what I'm saying, and make it happen. You see what I'm saying? To make sure that the cameras and the media and everybody catches this on camera. You know what I'm saying? And then you had another group probably to another side of the building. They were already up to the face of the building, and they up there throwing sticks and hitting the windows and making it look like the people are trying to break in, and the whole world is going to hell in a handbag with a buckle of fries, 2 shitless, and a bottle of sunflower seeds. You know what I mean? But at the same time, when we look at it, that was the whole plan in itself. You know what I'm saying? They frankly probably don't care because they got away with every single move that they figured that they made and caused the chaos and the same shit that we see, even when it comes to Netanyahu and what he is doing to the people in the Gaza Strip. You know what I'm saying? He's murdering civilians, killing civilians, and then chopping up saying that you found hostages and so on and so on and this and that and the third, you know what I mean, and all this matter. But I still believe in the essence that Hamas is not for the Gaza people or the Palestinian people. It's a faction of Muslimism brutality in some way of coming in and ruling with an iron fist in all ways, like the gentleman said, that I can believe. But at the same time, we see Hamas has to understand that, saying you cannot be, going into people's countries as you did with the African people. You did the same fucking shit to the original people of the land, of earth. You know what I'm saying? And the goddess and the mother of the greatness that be. You know what I'm saying? You went in there and you corrupt every fucking thing that you could find, from rape to murder, even what we see going on right now. Right now. Now, when you look at what's going on right now, why is it that we're hearing that many of the Palestinian women and shit are being raped? You know what I'm saying? This is God's chosen people. You know what I'm saying? This is God's chosen people in their so-called Bible. You know what I'm saying? And they're over there raping the women in Palestine, in when they up in the Gaza Strip going into Palestine, you know what I'm saying, and the different towns and the different cities, and many complaints and violations of rape and murder and all type of shit are going on. You see what I'm saying? In all ways. And this is God telling them to rape the women and fuck them in the butt and all kinds of bullshit garbage. But when we look at, you know what I'm saying, this right here, you know what I'm saying, it said, but the midwives feared God and did not do as the king of Egypt said. Now, when we go back up here, it says, then the king of Egypt, right, spoke to the Hebrew midwives, of whom the names was, I'm not saying the names and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And the names was, he's talking, I think, to two midwives. You know what I'm saying? And the name was Puha, whatever, and the other one. And he said, when you do the duties of the midwives for the Hebrew women and see them on the birth stool, if it is a son, then you shall kill him. That's a lie. I believe in all ways that was written in here to demonize the Egyptians in this book. Because in this book, every time you mention something to do with African people or something to do something that you say historically happened, you always have the Egyptians and the African in a bad light. You know what I'm saying? As if they're cursed because you say so, and print this book and made people believe that this is some kind of spiritual, mythological, miracle, psychological probably work. Your witches brew and the shit that you get out of Africa, you're mixing it and you're taking it and you're doubling down and you create this book. But this book ain't had nobody really, because eventually they would still see the past. So you attack the children with this book. You know what I'm saying? Again. And the midwives fear God. You know what I'm saying? But notice in the midwives, they said that they were not like Egyptians, Egyptian women. You know what I'm saying? Because they do this and they do that. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at the whole situation, if you're not like Egyptian women, and you told the king that back then, so you said in the Holy Bible, Holy Sweet James Bible, you know what I'm saying? You actually are not speaking truthfully, because you said the king told you to kill every child. So that means the Egyptian women and the Egyptian people had to agree with that in all ways. And you say that you are not like the Egyptian women in the Holy Sweet James book, with your Jesus, sweet Jesus and them. You know, saying you said that you are not like them. But when we look at what you are doing today to the women in Egypt, that you calling Israel and all kinds of shit that you probably stole of different names and stuff, you over there killing and raping the women. Why would you kill and rape the women when you are supposed to be God's chosen people? So many of the stuff that we see going on even today with with uh with this stuff with Marjorie Taylor Greene was talking about, we have to pay attention to a lot of it, because it is highly important that we understand the different denominations and different things that they have been doing to us in all ways, and not just even in the Bible. That Bible book is just no more than a witch's brew or witchcraft or bullshit in all ways to get people's minds into that situation. You know what I'm saying?